Welcome to Mysteries and Crime, where we uncover the chilling shadows of unsolved mysteries. Tonight, we take you deep into the heart of Mount Asahi, where an ominous SOS sign was discovered, meticulously arranged with stones, a plea for help that led to more questions than answers, but no trace of the person who left it. Before we begin, congratulations to Merctus Laflamme, last week's sharp-eyed detective who cracked the hidden clue. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Tonight's clue. If a message is sent but never received, does it mean the sender was lost or never existed at all? Think you can piece together the truth? Share your theory in the comments below. The highest peak in Hokkaido's Daisetsuzan National Park is a breathtaking yet unforgiving landscape. In the summer of 1989, hikers stumbled upon an eerie SOS signal crafted from carefully placed rocks. Authorities launched a rescue operation, but no one was missing. No bodies, no campsites, nothing. The summer of 1989 was like any other in Daisetsuzan National Park, until a group of climbers noticed something unusual. They spotted a stark white SOS sign, carefully laid out with stones on an open patch of land. The distress signal seemed desperate, urgent. Assuming someone was lost or in danger, they immediately alerted park rangers. Within hours, a search and rescue team was dispatched. They combed the entire area, expecting to find a stranded hiker, an injured traveler, or even the remains of someone long lost. But there was nothing. No footprints, no broken branches, no signs of recent activity. Authorities began checking missing persons reports, but no open case matched the location. Had this been a forgotten distress call from a past emergency? Or was it something much darker? Something yet to be discovered? As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered a terrifying connection, one that linked the SOS sign to a disappearance that had occurred nearly 2 decades prior. To understand the mystery of the SOS sign, authorities turned to unsolved disappearances in the region. One name stood out immediately: Yoshio Mori, a 21-year-old college student who disappeared on Mount Asahi-Dake in 1972. Yoshio was an experienced solo hiker who had embarked on a trek to document the stunning landscapes of Daisetsuzan. He had last been seen leaving a mountain lodge, heading toward the summit, but he never returned. Search teams scoured the area for weeks. Eventually, they found his backpack lodged in a rock crevice, but Yoshio himself was never found. Another possible victim was Haruko Takahashi, a woman in her mid-30s who vanished in 1984. Unlike Yoshio, Haruko was a casual hiker. She had been on a day trip with friends when she suddenly wandered away from the group. Her disappearance was swift and silent. Despite massive search efforts, Haruko was never seen again. The similarities were eerie. Could one of them have managed to leave a message before meeting their fate? Or had someone else, someone unknown, been the true sender of the SOS? The deeper investigators looked, the darker the possibilities became. If someone had been in distress, there had to be a reason. Could the SOS sign have been left by a victim of foul play? Perhaps an accident? Or something far more sinister? One local legend spoke of a mysterious survivalist, a man who had supposedly lived deep in the mountains for years. Hikers occasionally reported seeing someone lurking near the tree line, watching, but never approaching. Some dismissed it as paranoia. Others believed a hidden figure stalked the park's visitors. Then there was Shigeru Ota, a man with a troubling history. In the early 1980s, authorities suspected him of attacking solo hikers, He was brought in for questioning, but never charged. His name surfaced again when investigators revisited unsolved cases. Had he lured an unsuspecting victim into the mountains, only for them to leave one final desperate message before disappearing forever? As investigators continued their search for answers, an even more chilling breakthrough emerged, one that would finally put a name to the bones buried near the SOS sign. The first real clue surfaced when forensic teams analyzed the SOS site. The stones forming the letters had been placed with meticulous care, not scattered in a desperate rush. This raised an unsettling question. Had the message been left long before it was discovered? Satellite imagery revealed something even more disturbing. The SOS sign had been visible since at least 1984, 5 years before it was officially found. This meant that whoever placed it never returned, or never survived long enough to be rescued. But the investigation took an even darker turn when forensic teams uncovered a chilling clue. Near the SOS sign, half buried beneath loose debris, lay a decayed leather boot. Inside, fragments of human bone. DNA testing provided the answer investigators had feared. The remains belonged to Yoshio Mori, the young man who had vanished in 1972. But this revelation only deepened the mystery. Yoshio had last been seen miles away from the SOS site. His backpack had been found in a completely different location. How did his remains end up near the distress signal? One grim theory emerged. Had Yoshio somehow survived his initial disappearance long enough to leave the message before succumbing to the elements? Or had someone moved his body? And then there was an even more terrifying question. Was someone using the SOS sign to lure in potential victims? At this point, the case took a haunting turn. Locals began whispering about strange occurrences in the park, disembodied voices calling out in the night, eerie footsteps echoing through the forest, and the feeling of being watched, even when no one else was around. The investigation was far from over. And soon, another discovery would change everything. After the discovery of Yoshio Mori's remains, law enforcement intensified their investigation. Could his death have been an accident, or was something far more sinister at play? Authorities expanded their search beyond the SOS site, combing the dense forests and treacherous cliffs. Helicopters, cadaver dogs, and ground teams scoured the area, searching for any additional remains, clues, or signs of past human activity. One of the major obstacles investigators faced was the harsh terrain. The mountain's unpredictable weather and rugged landscape made it nearly impossible to determine how long the SOS sign had been there, or if others had contributed to its construction over time. As officials examined old hiker logs, missing persons reports, and past incidents, they uncovered something disturbing. At least 3 other individuals had gone missing in the region, and their cases remained unsolved. Could the mountain be harboring a hidden predator? Forensic teams faced significant hurdles in piecing together the mystery. The remains discovered near the SOS sign had been exposed to the elements for decades, making it difficult to determine the exact cause of death. Yoshio Mori's bones showed no clear signs of trauma, no fractures, no blunt force injuries, and no evidence of an attack. However, experts noted something deeply unsettling. The condition of the bones suggested they had been moved long after death. This meant that either natural forces had shifted them, or someone had intentionally placed them near the SOS site. Investigators also analyzed the composition of the stones used for the SOS message. Their findings were shocking. Some of the rocks had been taken from nearly a mile away, suggesting a deliberate, carefully executed effort to construct the sign. This raised a disturbing question. Had the SOS been a genuine distress signal, or was it left there as a message by someone else? When news of the mystery SOS sign broke, the public response was one of unease and fear. Hikers who had visited Mount Asahi-Dake in previous years began to come forward, reporting strange occurrences, unexplained sounds in the night, missing equipment, and even sightings of a shadowy figure deep in the forest. Some locals believed that the mountain was cursed, a place where those who entered alone would never return. Others speculated that a serial predator had been operating in the region, using the mountain's harsh landscape as a hunting ground. Whether the disappearances were natural accidents, foul play, or something even more sinister, the Japanese media quickly picked up on the bizarre story, dubbing it the Phantom SOS Mystery. Sensational headlines claimed the mountain was haunted, that the SOS sign was an unsolved message from beyond the grave. Some news outlets pointed to similar cases worldwide where cryptic distress signals were found with no trace of their sender. As speculation grew, authorities were pressured to reopen old missing persons cases tied to the region. But despite renewed efforts, no new evidence emerged. Had the truth been buried beneath the snow and stone, or was it still lurking, waiting to be found? With more questions than answers, theories surrounding the mysterious SOS sign grew wildly diverse. One theory suggested Yoshio Mori had survived his disappearance for longer than previously believed, constructing the SOS sign before succumbing to exhaustion or exposure. But this conflicted with the forensic evidence. His bones had been moved long after death. Another chilling possibility? A serial predator had been using the mountain as a hunting ground. The theory suggested that someone, perhaps a skilled outdoorsman or recluse, had lured hikers into isolation, eliminating them one by one. Yet another theory pointed to an unknown hiker, someone who had gone missing long ago, but had never been officially reported. Could the SOS sign have been their final cry for help, lost in time until its discovery in 1989? Despite countless speculations, no definitive answer was ever found. Without a clear suspect or concrete evidence, no trial was ever held. Yoshio Mori's remains were formally identified, but his cause of death remained undetermined. Authorities could not classify the case as a homicide. There were no signs of foul play on the remains, and no living witnesses could provide insight into what had really happened. As for the other missing hikers, their disappearances were never solved. Eventually, the case was closed, officially labeled as an unsolved wilderness mystery. But even as the investigation ended, the eerie presence of the SOS sign continued to haunt those who ventured near Mount Asahi-Dake. Was the real truth still buried in the mountain's depths? Or had it been erased forever? Even decades later, the mystery remains unsolved. Who placed the SOS sign? Was it a desperate plea for help, or something more cryptic? If it was left by Yoshio Mori, how did his remains end up miles away from his last known location? And if someone else left the message, where did they go? To this day, Mount Asahi-Dake keeps its secrets. Some say the mountain still whispers in the wind, calling out to those who dare to listen. The mysterious SOS sign became one of Japan's most infamous wilderness mysteries, leaving a lasting impact on hikers, investigators, and true crime enthusiasts alike. a site known for vanishing hikers, eerie encounters, and an unsolved mystery etched into the landscape itself. Even today, some hikers claim to feel watched, as if someone or something is still out there. The question remains, will the truth ever be uncovered? As we close the case, we are left with more questions than answers. Did you catch tonight's clue? Could a different turn of events have changed everything? Drop your theories in the comments below and join us next time for another unsettling mystery. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay safe.